Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of Tales of the Tech Revolution. Hopefully you have all watched part 1, but I will link it up here in case you haven't. That was really the background to this video, and it talked a lot about drivers of change and the reasons why I feel that the tech revolution has come about in the context of the legal sector. So please watch that one first, as this one will have a whole lot more relevance if you do. So this video is really a whistle-stop tour of Lawtech. I am by no means an expert in this field, but as I read a lot about the subject of law, I've noticed that time and time again, issues surrounding Lawtech are coming up in legal publications and amongst lawyers. So I wanted to do a video just to make you aware of some of the primary types of Lawtech and things that you might want to be aware of if you are going forward to a career in law. So first of all, what is Lawtech and is it the same as legal tech? Lawtech is exactly what it says on the tin, pretty much. It's technology used in a legal context, but that's not just limited to technology used by lawyers on a day-to-day basis in their job roles. It can also be technology used to facilitate relationships between clients and lawyers. It can also be technology used to facilitate relationships between lawyers and other lawyers or lawyers and businesses. It's any kind of technology that's used in the legal profession. Is it the same as legal tech? Basically, yes. Although from my reading, my understanding is that legal tech is kind of a slightly more old school definition and tend to refer more to technology used by lawyers in their day-to-day lives. And law tech is the more kind of modern, all-encompassing term for types of technology used in the legal profession. But I don't think you'd be wrong to say either if you were talking about it in the context of an application or an interview. There are lots of different types of technology out there, but I am going to cover the two main types of technology which I think are at the forefront of legal technology at the moment, and that is artificial intelligence and blockchain. First of all, artificial intelligence. That word has a lot of connotations, and when I first started thinking about artificial intelligence, I had visions of iRobot and Minority Report and futuristic super beings taking over the role of humans. But actually, I read an article, surprise, surprise, which was published by or posted by Daniel Susskind, who's Richard Suskind's son, who I referred to in last week's video, which basically said that artificial intelligence is the word we use for technology until it works, which is exactly right. Artificial intelligence is all around us. There are so many examples of artificial intelligence being used in everyday life. For example, smartphones and Siri, that's a form of artificial intelligence. Self-driving cars or cars which brake when they sense friction around them, that's a type of artificial intelligence. Or even on a more mundane level, email systems which can sort themselves into categories or prioritise emails that you think might be more important than others. All of that is types of artificial intelligence. So any kind of technology which appears to have some kind of thinking or brain behind it is artificial intelligence. So why do we need this in the legal profession? I talked a lot about last week about pressures that are coming in, particularly in respect of fixed costs and consumers wanting more for less. So there is a big pressure on lawyers to deliver their services with maximum efficiency, and having technology in place to do some of the more mundane tasks which require less brain power is a massively more cost-effective way than having lawyers charging their time, their hourly rate, to do work which essentially could be done much cheaper by technology. So that leaves lawyers free to do really hardcore lawyering, in my opinion. So they do the face-to-face meetings, going to court, all the things which can't be done by technology, but the more basic things can be run by technology, which is significantly more efficient for law firms. If you are interested specifically in types of artificial intelligence which are coming through the legal sector, then I would really recommend that you check out a website called Legal Geek, which is basically a hub for all things law tech. And it's really easy to digest. You just go on it, and specifically what I think is brilliant is it has this map on it, which is a map of all different types of legal tech startup which are on the market at the moment, and it categorises them in terms of which area of the legal market they're intended to help or intended to be part of. So I'll link it at the end below so you can have a look at it, but that is a really good way of finding out what specific types of tech are available and how they can be used in the legal marketplace. So the second one then, blockchain. So blockchain, I am still getting my head around, and I'm not sure my head is fully around it yet, but blockchain came about around about the same time as Bitcoin, which is obviously a digital cryptocurrency. Again, it's not really my strong suit, Bitcoin, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But what blockchain is was essentially a digital ledger that was created as a way of tracking payments made by Bitcoin, because obviously it wasn't a physical currency, so you couldn't have banks to track the transactions. So there had to be a way of monitoring those transactions and tracking them, which is how blockchain came about. So blockchain is essentially a filing system for digital information and data. So it's an online way of storing and encrypting data. And one of the key things about blockchain is that it's incredibly robust and allegedly hack-proof, because only people can access the blockchain who have the right login details and who have permission. So allegedly it is hack-proof, which is one of the things that makes it really attractive to being used by the legal sector. At the moment, blockchain is yet to be implemented into the legal profession. At the moment, there's just a lot of discussion about which potential sectors could benefit from blockchain to increase efficiency and delivery of services. So a couple of key areas which have been identified are, firstly, in terms of contracts. So the whole history of a contractual deal could be stored on the blockchain, and that means all the historical versions of the contract could be on there, which would negate the need for a lawyer to come in and advise at every stage. Or another example is in property and real estate, where the deeds of title of a property could be stored on the blockchain, which means there's less chance of those being lost and people not being able to prove their ownership to that title. So these are just a couple of ideas. Again, I am not an expert in this, and I'm sure there is a much more in-depth analysis that somebody who is more familiar with the tech industry could tell you, but that's at the moment, my overall understanding of how blockchain could be used. So what does this mean for you as junior lawyers? Well, practically, I think it means that your route to career progression is going to be a lot different to if you were entering the profession 10 or 15 years ago. Your route to success is almost certainly going to involve technology to some extent, and my advice to you, therefore, is to get into tech. And I don't mean that you need to get a job in tech or anything like that, but just get interested in tech and be aware of what's going on in the legal marketplace, because this will almost certainly be a vital part of your career progression in the future. If you are interested in working for firms that are particularly tech savvy and are at the forefront of the legal tech movement, then I've put a list in the description underneath this video, which I took from an article which was published in The Lawyer. I would have linked the article, but unfortunately you need a subscription in order to access it, and some of you might not have that, so I've just put the list instead. Also, if you think you might be a budding law technician, I've also put a link to the Barclays Eagle Lab in the description for this video, which is the hub of entrepreneurialism and tech startups, and it also has a legal tech focus in the London Eagle Lab. So it's a really good place to start if you are thinking about your own tech startup or you want to find out a little bit more about it. That's all from me. I hope you've enjoyed this whistle-stop tour of Lawtech and it's given you some helpful information, and I will see you in my next video in a couple of weeks. See you guys.